And we continue our coverage here on Bloomberg Television as we keep an eye on what's been going on with the various earnings going on out there right now. Right now, looking at Google Alphabet, right now on the back foot, Microsoft getting a pretty decent bid. Joining us right now to talk a little bit more about this, let's go to Mandeep Singh, Bloomberg Intelligence analyst, joining us right now. Anurag Rana also going to be joining us from Chicago to help break down this earnings. But I'll start with you, Mandeep, since you're right here next to us here. What was your first impression here out of the results?
I mean, search remarkably resilient when you think of, a business at over $150 billion run rate, growing double digits, and all the talk about ChatGPT taking share, hurting, obviously that hasn't materialized. Cloud, a little bit of a letdown, but not surprised given, everyone right now is talking about generative AI and they are kind of making their 2024 plans. It hasn't really translated into cloud revenue. So guidance would be interesting on that front.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. I mean, the share reaction seems to be tied to some of the numbers out of that cloud unit, a unit that basically didn't exist a few years ago. And last time I checked, it's come up to maybe about 10% or so of revenue. So it's growing pretty fast. And I guess people want to know just how competitive can they be in that space? And does this become a much more dominant part of their business?
It will. I mean, to my mind, they are a leader in the large language model field. They have trained a lot of their large language models, and I think they have the apparatus to offer other companies to do the same. The good thing with Alphabet is they don't have a legacy business that's going to get cannibalized like Microsoft. I mean, Anurag can tell more, but clearly, they don't have any on-prem business. It's all in the cloud, and we know this is what everyone wants. So it's just a matter of when the demand will come back for cloud capacity, and that way, I do think they are positioned very well.
All right, let's bring in Anurag Rana, who, of course, covers software companies and can give us a read on Microsoft. Looking at shares of Microsoft, they are rising in after-hours trade. What in particular were investors fixated on? I know Azure and any mention of AI is top of mind, but I bring this up because there's some disappointment during the last earnings season with how much Microsoft was spending in order to really capitalize on its AI capabilities.
Yeah, the Azure growth did stand out to us. They guided for 25 to 26%, and they came out at 28. So that's really a positive sign. But the real kicker is going to be when we find out on the conference call what the guidance for next quarter is going to be. Whether this quarter was an aberration or we continue to see demand for a lot of their cloud services continue. I think that really will dictate the momentum, not just for Microsoft, but almost the entire software industry.
In conversation right now with Anurag Rana over at Bloomberg Intelligence, a closer look at Microsoft. We also have Mandeep Singh with us, also from Bloomberg Intelligence, who joined us today to talk a little bit about Alphabet. But we want to break some news right now involving Snap. Those shares higher by more than 20% here in after-hours trading after the company came out with earnings that beat on a lot of key metrics, including a big beat on revenue, a pretty significant beat on EBITDA. In fact, they actually posted EBITDA of $40 million. The street was actually looking for a loss of about $64 million. The company also beat on active users, and it said that is going to institute a buyback of about 500 million shares. And Mandeep, I just want to get your thoughts on this real quick before we go back to Anurag here. Snap, it kind of seems to be one of those social media companies that we stopped talking about, though I should point out that at least for the underage people in my household, that is their preferred platform of choice.
It is, and look, Meta had a lawsuit today from various attorney generals talking about, the content and the ads they show. So Snap also, I think, falls in that realm, even though there isn't any lawsuit. But look, anytime you have a platform that has got 400 million daily active users, they have got the attention. And ad business is cyclical. We know that it will come back. The problem that these guys have is they don't have the scale that Meta and Alphabet have, which is why advertisers go to them first. But clearly there's a trickle-down effect. And if there is an ad rebound, Snapchat, Pinterest, all these platforms also participate.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that segment of population that does use Snap, very, very sticky, as Romain and I can attest to. Anurag, let's bring you back in here for the final word on Microsoft. We fixate so much on Azure, on AI, and until we get the forecast, we don't really know how the company is positioning itself. But I did want to ask you about the legacy business, which is Office and other applications with regard to productivity. This is a big part of Microsoft nonetheless, because it does drive its earnings, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, but those businesses don't really swing up and down that much. Those are very steady Eddie businesses, 8 to 10% growth, maybe 12% depending on the quarter. So right now we are not expecting any major bump in that. It's going to take at least 1 to 2 years before we really see some benefits of AI onto that portfolio. So but all eyes are on Azure guidance for next quarter, and that's the most important thing for us.
All right, Anurag, always appreciate you jumping on for us. Anurag Rana, one of the best of Bloomberg Intelligence. And to my right there is Mandeep Singh, also of Bloomberg Intelligence, helping break down our earnings. Our thanks to both of them. We're going to say goodbye to them and let them get back to work.